Mississippi Black Women's Roundtable and our coalition members collected over 250 pocketbooks, and they were placed on each legislator's desk this morning, filled with materials to demonstrate the power of a woman's pocketbook and the positive impact women's economic security will have on this state. We are using this powerful symbol of the pocketbook to bring attention to the dire need in Mississippi to prioritize particularly Black women, whom 8 out of 10 are breadwinners of our households. We know that women are using their pocketbooks to care for households and pay for critical needs like rent, child care, and food costs. Inside each pocketbook, a cookie with 56 cents on it exemplified the fact that Black women only earn 56 cents compared to the dollar earned by a white non-Hispanic male. Her loss represents a contributing factor, contributes to the loss of $4.15 billion to the state's economy. A push card informing them that what elements need to be included in a good equal pay bill that does no harm to Mississippi's women. Also included was a policy agenda informing them what is necessary to make women economically secure, such as protections from wage discrimination, access to health care, specifically expanding Medicaid to moms 12 months postpartum, pregnancy accommodations for pregnant workers, access to child care, and paid leave, to name a few. Joining me this morning to speak on the power of women's pocketbooks are Pearl Wicks, Executive Vice President, Chief Operating Officer for Hope Credit Union, and Maria Cerritos, student at Mississippi State University, majoring in civil engineering with a minor in mathematics. Let's welcome Pearl Wicks.
Good morning and thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. Hope Credit Union is a Black-led, women-owned, community-driven credit union. Over 60% of Hope's members are women, most of whom are Black women, and most of whom earn less than $50,000 a year. This issue of equal pay is connected to the very core of our work every day as we seek to build economic stability in the Deep South. Hope is in the business of ensuring that race, gender, birthplace, and wealth do not limit one's ability to prosper. Since 1994, Hope has generated more than $3 billion in financing that has benefited nearly 2 million people in the Deep South, while shaping policies and practices that have improved conditions in opportunity-starved communities nationwide. Throughout its history, the organization has excelled in bridging capital gaps for women and people of color. For example, as recent as 2020, 2/3 of Hope's business loans were made to women and people of color. As a credit union, we are able to help obtain a strong financial footing for our members and grow for the future, either through building their credit, buying a home, starting a new business. However, to the extent people's incomes are unnecessarily suppressed on the basis of sex, it also means these opportunities to build wealth will be suppressed as well. Hope is meeting people where they are to do its part to overcome these barriers with down payment assistance and flexible underwriting that allows us to see the whole person and try to provide financial products that help them build the dream to see for themselves. But we do not have the ability to solve the root of this problem, the reality that women in Mississippi earn much less than men for the very same work. We're doing our part, and we are calling on policymakers to do their part. Fair pay for fair work for women has the ability to ensure that women are able to build and maintain a clear, smooth path towards economic security for themselves, their family, and most importantly, for our state. Thank you.
Sorry. Good morning, y'all. My name is Maria Serratos. I am a civil engineer student at Mississippi State University. Looking back at why I decided to pursue civil engineering, the people of Mississippi come to mind. I have been fortunate enough to be able to work with communities in both rural and urban areas of the state. From Batesville to Agricola, Mississippians have greeted me with that hospitality they are so well known for. This constant support is what drives me to one day become a servant leader to the people of Mississippi. Yet, my drive for service is met with a growing concern as I swiftly approach graduation. Knowing that the state has no regulation when it comes to pay disparities makes me wonder how well Mississippi legislatures value the working women of their state. So, I ponder this question to you all. Why should I stay in a state that devalues my efforts by offering me 54 cents for every dollar a man makes for performing the same job? Though I feel more for my fellow sisters that have no choice but to comply to this ultimatum and continue to stay in a workforce that has systematically placed them at a disadvantage. Starting with the hiring process, inquiring for a salary history only perpetuates the wage gap in the state and continues to devaluate women's work. Openly speaking about salary and not be a re- Openly speaking about salary should not be a reason to be retaliated against in the workforce, since it further promotes the disparities and denies women of a chance of growth. If the women of Mississippi are not given a fair shot at success, the growth and progress of the state will continue to be in jeopardy. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Pearl, and thank you so much, Maria. So compelling to have a young person speak to what she knows is important to making sure that she can have and achieve economic security. So, Maria, thank you so much from driving from Starkville to be a part of this important day. It is my sincere hope that the lawmakers will prioritize the power of women's pocketbooks. Our households, local, and state economy depends on it. And this concludes our press event, and we're open for questions. Yes.
Can you outline some of the changes you'd like to see in the legislation that's currently pending?
Specifically speaking to House Bill 770?
Or the Senate bill, either one? I believe I heard you say you want to see some changes or amendments made.
Absolutely. HB 770, we know will harm Mississippians. So one of the things that's really a concern to us is that HB 770 expressly allows employers to pay a woman less than a man doing the same job. Particularly, what it would do is that it allow employers to rely on salary history, which undermines the whole point of equal pay. One of the other things that we are concerned about is that it will force Mississippians who choose to use this law to waive their federal protections under the Federal Act. And so leaving them with fewer rights than they currently have, because the alleged protections in this bill are definitely weaker than those at the federal law, the Federal Act. The other thing the bill does, it leaves women out. It actually addresses sex-based pay inequities. And so we want a bill that talks about, it leaves Black women out. So it leaves out race, period. And as we said earlier, Black women are making 56 cents on the dollar. Latino women and Indigenous women are also making fewer wages as well. The other thing that we're interested in is that this bill only covers full-time employees. A lot of the women that we know are part-time employees. As Pearl talked about, they're working 2 and 3 jobs just to catch up. And so that's a concern for us. And then the other thing is that this bill only requires that employees, it only protects employers that have 5 employees or more. So we want to be able to make sure that this covers all employees. And so these are just some of the things that we're concerned about in the bill. There are others. The Senate bill we're concerned about particularly is that it burdens the plaintiff to have to prove that she has been discriminated against, and it's called plead with particularities. And so that's very concerning because most of the time women don't know that they're even being discriminated against. And so we don't need to be able to have women have to plead, and then that keeps them in court long. And first of all, they don't even have money to even go to court. And so women don't want to go to court. We just want to go to work, go home, and take care of our families and be an active citizen in our community. So we don't want to have to put that extra burden on women to have to plead and to show that they have been discriminated against.
There's an act there's a bill that's been drafted right now that would create a Crown Act here in Mississippi. I was curious what your thoughts are on that, what that could mean for especially Black women in the state.
Anybody want to take that? The Crown Act in Mississippi. Well, what we know is that would be tremendous if that bill did pass. We know that Black women, Black girls, Black men have gotten discriminated against because of how we wear our hair. I have dreadlocks. We wear our hair natural. And so there is nothing wrong with that. That is who we are. That is our beauty. And so if that act would pass, it would actually protect students and protect all of us at our workplaces so that we won't get fired. That is straight. It will stop discrimination, and that is discrimination. So this law would pass, would be significant and add extra protections. And we've seen the news where women and little girls, teachers have done just some horrific, harmful, violent things to a young girl and a young boy whose hair is not straight. That is racist, that is discriminatory, and this law will put an end to that. Any other questions? If not, you all can take interviews. Thank you all so much. I want y'all to say, women's pocketbooks matter. Women's pocketbooks matter. Say it again, women's pocketbooks matter. Women's pocketbooks matter. Thank y'all so much.